feel like it's camera angles, storylines, the way the sequences are shot. Like, what is it for you that brings you to that conclusion that a lot of these action movies feel like the same movie?
I think a lot of these action movies, in terms of the cinematic quality of these films, I think that one of the things that they repeatedly do is just kind of, like we mentioned, bite off that Fast and Furious style of action, where it almost kind of seems like the same thing over and over again. And in the past, with our action movies, we had actors who could bring something different to the table with their films. We had actors who were actually martial artists. We had actors who had maybe military backgrounds, so they could bring a little bit more authenticity to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just strange to me how everyone is kind of biting off the Fast and Furious and not that John Wick style either, because John Wick makes money, just not as much money as Fast and Furious. I think that's one of the problems. Everyone's kind of playing it safe, and the action movie genre as a whole, it's kind of taken a beat down in general towards the superhero genre. I think the superhero genre has kind of replaced, not kind of, it has replaced that big number one box office draw of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And these movie companies don't want to put that much possibly effort into these action films because they know, why even try so much with this film? Let's make it kind of cookie cutter, get the 20 million for the box office run, and then straight to streaming in about 2 months.
I got you. Let's try to secure the bag, right?
Right, let's secure the bag, and then we get it to the streaming. Maybe get an exclusive deal with streaming exclusively on Amazon Prime or whatever, and call it a day. And the film costs maybe 5 mil to make. Cool. So I think that's probably the problem. And I also think that it's just the scope of these films have been, even if you look at your average Fast and Furious film, these are not films being made 30 mil and under. These are, for the most part, high budget, big budget films. The Fast and Furious film trilogy is now blown past the budget of those first three films, and are now basically superhero blockbusters kind of masked as an action adventure film. But Vin Diesel's been doing Superman feats for the last 5 fucking films. That is what it is. You know what I mean?
Not bad. Not like Dominic Toretto, man. Not bad for a guy that started out street racing and stealing DVD players off semi trucks.
Exactly. And then you also have The Rock, who's basically like Thor and the Hulk in one in terms of his strength.
Well, this is interesting here. This is a very interesting conversation here, because I think, I've seen all of the Fast and Furious movies. I've seen all of them. I was a fan. Like, for me, I liked, and I'm probably in the minority on this here, but I liked the first 2 movies. The first Fast and Furious was a lot, and I mean, it was a lot like Point Break, except instead of bank robbing with the undercover officer, it was street racing. Point Break is one of my favorite action movies ever made. I would highly recommend the original Point Break, not the 2015 remake that nobody went to see. But digress.
Okay.
Right? It's interesting you bring up The Rock, because currently The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, is the biggest movie star in the world. And for me, the last Fast and Furious movie that was at least semi-realistic or had a plot that just wasn't completely batshit crazy was Fast 5. And that was the first one that The Rock starred in, aside with Vin Diesel. Fast 5, for me, was the tipping point for the entire franchise. Because that was the first, Fast 5 was the first time that the Avengers all assembled in this universe that occupies Fast and Furious. That was the first movie where you seen Tyrese meet up with Vin Diesel That's where they brought Han back. That's where they brought Ludacris back. That was the first one where all of the characters that were built up in this universe met up with each other, right?
So you're saying that Fast Five was the film that started the new modern era of the Fast and Furious films
Yep.
that we
Yep.
know to this day. That was the tone change after that film.
100%. Because the one that came out before that was just called Fast and Furious. That was the fourth movie. And I've seen that one as well, but nobody remembers anything about that movie at all.
That was the last one I actually saw.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean, I saw Hobbs and Shaw in theaters. That was the last regular Fast and Furious I saw in theaters. And the last thing I remember from that film was Michelle Rodriguez came back. Or am I thinking of another one? That's when she came back, right?
Fast and Furious, or just the fourth one in general, that was the plot line around that one. Is that I believe Vin Diesel came out of hiding because he thought that his lover, Michelle Rodriguez, was killed.
Right.
The plot line around that movie is him getting revenge on the guy who he thought killed his lover, right?
Right.
That was it there. But in terms of impact, nobody goes back to watch that movie at all. Fast Five was the one that I think opened the doors for this new wave or this new type of movie that they make there. The storylines of the Fast and Furious movies post Fast Five are these wide sweeping international stories that get told in multiple locations.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. Uh-huh.
They didn't start becoming globetrotters until after Fast Five. 6, 7, 8, all of those movies involve going to different locations all across the world. But Fast Five is the tipping point for me. That was the last one that I liked overall as a movie, that I was entertained by, but also like viewed it as being pretty quality. Everything after that was jumping the shark. I mean, I still watched it. They still took my money, just like everybody else's. But past Fast Five is when it came to be kind of, I'm not going to say mindless entertainment, but I'm going to say junk food entertainment.
Almost as if they basically took like a James Bond template and merged it with cars and modern action. In terms of the world locations and the espionage, spy espionage, and the world threats. Instead of just, I'm beating you in a race, bro. It's like, the fate of the world depends if you do this, Dom.
Yeah, because like what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, what kind of shit are we really talking about here? Like, you gotta suspend your disbelief anyways. But, and I know I keep making reference to Fast Five, but Fast Five, the basic template of that movie is you have a lawman. In this case, that was the role that The Rock was playing. He's a lawman that always gets his guy. He never, if they send him after you, your ass is either getting killed or you're getting captured, right?
Right.
That was the basic template of that movie there. It was realistic enough to where you could suspend your disbelief, because we've all seen movies where somebody's on the run and then there's somebody going after them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything past that just got to being to where they were making shit that didn't make any sense, to where now we got these guys doing counterterrorism, fucking around with nuclear weapons and anti, like, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
All because they can drive really fast. Yeah.
Because they can drive fast. In fact, in Too Fast, Too Furious, Ludacris's character of Tess, what was his thing? What was his gimmick? He was a guy that was holding the illegal street races and, like, for whatever reason, could lower and heighten the bridge to where cars could get across the bridge. And he knew a lot of people who were street racers, right?
Right.
So you fast forward about 10, 12 years, how does he become the intel guy?
How is he now on anti-terrorism missions that have a worldwide catastrophic effect?
Right. How does he become the computer guy? Like, when did this happen? Right?
Right.
And I'll give them credit. Where I will give credit is that they were able to make it so interesting to where we didn't even care to get an answer to that question.
Yeah, slipped my mind when I saw Just all the recent ones.
We didn't even care to get an answer to that question. And I mean, again, that's a credit to them being able to make these movies that are entertaining enough to where you don't care about any of that. But like, again, when it got to the point where you see Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, when they get casted in these movies just for one fight scene to get beat up by Michelle Rodriguez, what the fuck?
Oh man, they're going for the cred of the MMA cred.
And it sounds like I'm being overly critical. I'm not, because these are things that made the movies successful. Now, I will say that Fast 7 did a great job of dedicating it to Paul Walker. And I mean, everybody in the theater was crying at the end of that movie.
Right. Proper send off to the actor and his legacy.
Yeah. If you weren't choking up, or you know what I'm saying, if the person next to you wasn't choking up, then like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Why are you even watching movies if that's the case? Like, they were able to hit a certain note with Fast 7 and the end of it, almost, I'm not gonna say similar to Brandon Lee and The Crow, because those are two different types of movies, but when that movie ended, you felt something. Even if a lot of the stunts, and you know what I'm saying, Jason Statham and Vin Diesel talking about a street fight, like, oh, man. And The Rock picking up a Gatling gun off of a helicopter that just got downed, like, oh man.
A little bit of the Expendables, sure. A little bit of that in there.
And I will forever be thankful to the Fast and Furious franchise for making the Expendables irrelevant. Because now we'll never have to experience another one of those movies, because we get a better version of it with the Fast and Furious with a more diverse cast. That was the next thing I kind of wanted to get into. The casting of these action movies, I think, in part, has become more diverse as a result of the Fast and Furious.
I could definitely say that. For the most part, I think success of the Fast and Furious in the box office being pretty much the only franchise outside of maybe Jurassic Park that can even compete with the MCU is making other Hollywood studios look at their IPs and their future projects and basically saying that, look, this can't have the white guy as the main character and just that's about it. There's now a point where you have to have everyone can see a little bit of themselves inside the film.
I agree with that, and I would also say that, I mean, even with including women as well, even with women as villains, like the villain in Fast 8 was Charlize Theron. She was the villain in that movie. But even going deeper than that, like, it provides an opportunity for things to be more interesting. There's more insight to seeing characters like that. Now, when we get to the point where you make John Cena Vin Diesel's long lost brother.
Wait, they did that shit?
Yeah. Oh man.
I saw Hobbs and Shaw, man. That was the last film of that trilogy I saw in theaters, and then before that was Fast and Furious 4 and bits and pieces of Fast 5. So to tell you the truth, man, I've been kind of out of the loop with the Fast and Furious franchise. I know they make big money, and I saw the Paul Walker send off of the last film, like YouTube clips or pictures or memes, but even that kind of hit me. I'm not even the biggest fan of these films anymore, and even I was, damn, he's gone, yo, like that was a good send off, and I didn't even watch it in theaters, and so I know that really was a big monumental emotion for the fans and whoever saw it in theaters.
Okay, dog, Fast 9. The trailer for Fast 9, and this is what I'm saying. This is where it gets to just being like fast food, junk food type movies here. It makes no sense if you really watched all of these flicks, bro, because they've set up the villain for this next Fast and Furious movie as Dominic Toretto's long lost brother, who happens to be played by John Cena.
Okay.
But what the fuck? Like, so I've seen all of these movies. There's never been a reference to him having a brother. There's never been a reference to any of that. But on another level, like John Cena is. Come on, bro. That's all I'm like. Nah, and I'm not even hating, but like only in a franchise that basically tells you to not think about what you're watching could convince you that John Cena and Vin Diesel could actually be brothers.
Totally.
You're already going into the movie just thinking about pure entertainment for that to make any kind of sense. You already have to acknowledge that it doesn't make sense for it to make sense.
Your suspension of belief is beyond that. There is no belief.
However,
in
I will
reality.
say this. If we've already seen Vin Diesel jump out of a moving car from one side of the freeway to the other side, catch somebody, land on a car, we've already seen them jump skyscrapers in sports cars. If we've already seen them do all of this shit, then it's okay if him and John Cena can be brothers now at this point in time.
True. They got to keep the money bag rolling, man. I think introducing another actor who has an attraction to him, with the whole Rock and Vin Diesel scenario of them not getting along with each other, so they don't want to collaborate in films anymore. So it's like, yeah, sure, we'll bring in the next best wrestler who can kind of act. Yeah,
it should have been Batista.
Should have been Batista. But Batista's good.
I'm just bullshitting.
Batista's good with this Drax money in Marvel. He's A-okay.
And I'm not hating because at the end of the day, they're still gonna take my money. Like they're still gonna take my money either way. The last little piece that I want to say on this is I do think that like while I'm talking shit right now, like the impact that this series of movies has had on other franchises is clearly evident.